Hi, our YouTube watching fellow American patriots. We are back. We are true conservative Asian voice in America. It has been almost 3 weeks since I talked to you last time. It was right after the Hanoi Vietnam Summit was terminated without bearing any fruit for neither party. Today I want to get to the topic of what's happening in the North Korea since the end of the abrupt termination of the Hanoi Summit on February 27th and 28th, when our President Trump and the U.S. negotiation team members just walked out without signing anything, without agreeing to anything that the North Korean big fat ugly pig was offering. It was a total victory for President Trump and the U.S. negotiation team, and it was a total failure, total loss for the North Korean. After that, what I heard was he had Kim Jong-Un of North Korea. He couldn't even figure out how to go back to North Korea because he was afraid to face his people who were waiting for him to come back to North Korea. So he stayed in the hotel room in Hanoi for I heard about like 1.5 more days. During those 1.5 days, he had to figure out how to go back to North Korea and face his people after totally failing in the Hanoi Summit. So it was quite a task for him to figure out how to go back. Well, at the end of the long, contemplation, what did he do? He decided to get back on the same slow train that took him 66 hours to ride to come from Pyongyang to Hanoi. He took the same train route to go back to North Korea. When he went back to North Korea, well, I bet in the train he was thinking a lot. He was so afraid. He didn't know how to face his people, and he knew what was awaiting for him to. So he couldn't even stop by the China to talk to Xi Jinping, because Xi Jinping of China didn't even want to see him either. Why? Because he was a total loser. He was a total loser. He was the total loser in that big fat, there was a comedy show, totally comedy. It was total comedy after all. So Xi Jinping didn't want to see him because Xi Jinping didn't want to waste any time talking to a loser, right? So he went back to North Korea, taking 66 hours in the slow train ride, and he finally went to North Korea. But there was a, little life-saving, task that his North Korean military people put on. They totally blocked all the, access to foreign news trying to come into North Korea. So he thought, our people were, they were blocked from receiving any news from outside, especially from the Hanoi Summit. So he thought everything was okay. So when he got there, but the reality was, people already found out, because North Korean people already found out that he lost. He was totally defeated in the Hanoi Summit. Why? Because I heard there are more than 200,000 cell phones that are owned by North Korean people, especially people in the Pyongyang. Right? Those are people who are serving and who are the active members of the North Korean Communist the party. Even these people found out that he totally lost. So when he stepped out of the train at the Pyongyang station. Well, there were big, huge, gathering of people waving flowers and North Korean flag, and then they were screaming and yelling and chanting, Kim Jong-Un, Kim Jong-Un, our leader, our chairman. But it was all, script. It was all script, and it's a fake. It's total fake. Total fake. In the hearts of those people who are waving and flowers in their flags, North Korean flags, they knew this guy came back as a total failure. The Hanoi Summit was a total failure. Anyway, so, and then on the, about 2 weeks after the Hanoi Summit was abruptly terminated, Choi Sun-hee, she's the third person in the rank in North Korea, in the North Korean delegation team negotiating with the US. She called a press conference with the media reporters from foreign nations. She didn't invite any North Korean reporters because she didn't want anything that she was about to talk about to get leaked out to the North Korean general public. So she only invited foreign nation reporters, media reporters, and then she put up a press conference saying that, well, our chairman Kim Jong-Un, he tried his best to have success at the Hanoi Summit by offering very reasonable deal to President Trump. But President Trump and the United States negotiating team members were like gangsters. They were like thieves. We were like thieves, he says. And although he was trying so hard to make peace and make a deal, just President Trump and the United States delegation team refused because they are evil people. Basically, that's what Choi Sun-hee says. And that when she said that, she mentioned before Kim Jong-un left North Korea to attend Hanoi Summit, there were pretty serious objections raised up by his military people, his military leaders. They told him not to go to Hanoi Summit because when Kim Jong-un told him, I'm going to Hanoi Summit to negotiate with the US, even including the possible dismantling of his North Korean nuclear armaments, all the nuclear programs and everything that has been developed by his grandfather Kim Il-sung and his father Kim Jong-il, and even by himself during past 5 years. His North Korean military leaders told him not to go because they didn't want to give up any nuclear armaments. So Choi Sun-hee said, well, despite all these objections by the North Korean military leaders, our chairman decided to go because he really cared about our country. That's what Choi Sun-hee said. But let's analyze that sentence, very sentence that Choi Sun-hee uttered. She just leaked in that sentence the fact that there's a serious conflict. There's a serious policy conflict between his own military leaders and himself. Do you see it? So when I was listening to this press conference Choi Sun-hee put up with the foreign reporters, foreign media personnel, I quickly could take myself back to the Reykjavik summit that Mikhail Gorbachev and our President Ronald Reagan attend back in 1986. What happened in that 1986 meeting? A summit between Mikhail and the Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, he refused to accept the Mikhail Gorbachev's offer. Basically, Gorbachev said, well, I want you to limit your SDI, the Star Wars program, Strategic Defense Initiative program, to just laboratory testing, never to deploy or actually implement the defense system in the Europe. But Ronald Reagan could not just give in and could not agree to Gorbachev's offer. So he said, "No, I'm not signing anything." And then he just walked away from that Reykjavik summit back in 1986. And what happened? In '89, Gorbachev, he ended up signing a deal without winning anything. The President Reagan, he continued on his the SDI, Star Wars program, and he refused to let the Soviet Union make us stop the Strategic Defense Initiative program. So after that, after 1989 summit, what happened? Gorbachev, he went back to the Soviet Union without bearing any fruit, and he was enjoying a vacation, personal vacation in the some nice area in Soviet Union. He encountered people who threw a coup d'état against him, and he was arrested by those military coup guys who came and arrested him, and then he was ousted. I think very similar thing is happening in the North Korea right now to Kim Jong-Un. North Korean military leaders, they are totally dissatisfied with what happened at the Hanoi Summit, what Kim Jong-un did. He totally knelt down before our President Trump. He was total loser, and our President Trump was total victor. He was the absolute winner in the whole show. So, what's happening? The North Korea has been in total lockdown. And things are getting really, really bad, I heard. Really, really bad. So I hope the end of Kim Jong-un's regime is coming very soon. I can feel it. I can smell it. It's coming. It's near. It's very near. So let's hope and pray that Kim Jong-un's regime will be thrown out, ousted by those military people who might be thinking about throwing up a coup d'état against him. All right. Nice to talk to you again. I'll continue in the next presentation. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for watching my video.